Hello, and welcome to this week's Statehouse Report. I'm CML Legislative Advocacy Manager Megan Dollar, and I'll go ahead and get us started. The first bill I want to talk about is Senate Bill 197. This bill has to do with workers' compensation and makes a number of changes around workers' compensation doctor choice. CML testified in opposition to that bill last week, as we are currently opposed unless amended. Our position is that the way the bill is currently drafted, that there would be, while doctor choice isn't necessarily a bad thing, we have some concerns with doctor shopping up until the individual employee actually goes back to work. We think that there needs to be at least a hard stop before, so that somebody can't just doctor shop and keep changing doctors up until they go back to work. Additionally, we have some concerns with lowering the thresholds on which doctors can actually be utilized for workers' compensation. And so we would like to see some amendments reflecting that as well. The bill was amended in committee and ultimately got out on a party line vote. However, at this point, staff has determined that those amendments will not meet our requirements to drop our opposition, and we will continue to oppose that bill. And then the next bill I want to talk about is House Bill 211117. This is CML's initiated legislation that allows local governments to promote affordable housing in new developments and clears the air around whether or not within our land use authority, we can require affordable housing in new developments. The bill, CML did work out an amendment that with the Office of the Governor specifically to address some density pieces that the governor would like to see utilized along with this new tool in the toolbox. We've added a lot of flexibility around that, and so local governments will still be able to utilize the tool to increase affordable housing supply in their communities. CML testified in support of that bill last week, and it got out of committee again on a party line vote, and has currently passed second reading in the Senate. Hopefully, by the time you all are viewing this video, it will be through the Senate. So that will conclude my report for this week. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. This is Heather Stauffer. This week, I'm going to be talking about 4 bills. The first bill I'm going to be talking about is House Bill 1051, Public Information Applicants for Public Employment. This bill would clarify that rather than multiple candidates, municipalities and other public entities are required to name one or more candidates for chief executive positions and make those applications available under Cora. CML lobbied in support of this bill on the Senate floor. The bill passed second and third reading this week with a vote of 28-7 and will now make its way to the governor's desk for signature. Second bill I want to talk about is Senate Bill 240, Watershed Restoration Grant Program Stimulus. This bill transfers $15 million from the general fund to the Colorado Water Conservation Board Construction Fund to fund a statewide watershed analysis and fund the Watershed Restoration Grant Program. Municipalities and other local governments are eligible to receive those funds through the Colorado Watershed Restoration Program. The bill directs the CWCB to use the money transferred for the grants specifically for projects which address restoration, mitigation, and protection of stream channels and riparian areas which are susceptible to flood hazard and sediment erosion because of wildfire. CML testified in support of this bill in the Senate Agriculture Committee, and that bill passed on a vote of 3-1. The next bill I want to talk about is House Bill 1071, Ranked Choice Voting in Nonpartisan Elections. This bill allows a municipality to coordinate with a county on elections which use ranked choice voting methods. CML lobbied in support of this bill on the House floor this week. That bill passed second and third reading with a vote of 40-23. It will now make its way over to the Senate. And finally, I want to talk about Senate Bill 166, Colorado Fire Commission recommendations. This bill updates a number of statutes relating to state and local governments' coordinated response to wildfire. These changes were recommended by the Colorado Fire Commission, and municipalities have 2 representatives on that commission. Among the changes, the bill updates the mutual aid statutes relating to liability. The bill also creates the state responsibility and large wildland fire fund, in the state treasury, which pays the state's share of suppression costs on large responsibility fires. The bill also clarifies that the regional and statewide mutual aid system is administered by the Division of Fire Prevention and Control. CML lobbied in support of this bill when it was on the Senate floor this week. That bill passed third reading with a vote of 34-0. It will now make its way over to the House. And that's it for me this week. Have a good week.
Hi, everybody. Bill Clarine here, and today I will provide you with updates on 3 bills. The first bill I'll discuss is House Bill 1168. CML has been working intensely with sponsor Representative Bacon on a strike bill amendment that turned the bill into a pilot. As the bill has moved throughout the stages, this amendment has stayed on, and the bill passed the House this past week. The next bill I will discuss is House Bill 1027, which allows certain liquor licensees to sell alcohol as a part of takeout and delivery orders through July 1st, 2026. This bill was amended with CML's input to add a section allowing communal dining. CML worked with the proponents of this amendment to ensure that local governments had the option to opt into these communal dining changes. This bill passed the House this past week and will now go to the Senate. The last bill I want to update you all on is House Bill 1281, which creates a community behavioral health disaster preparedness program in CDPHE to ensure behavioral health is adequately represented within disaster preparedness and response efforts across the state. CML is neutral on this bill. However, we did support an amendment saying that the policies created in this program do not override local disaster preparedness policies and procedures. And that concludes my updates for this week. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Hi, everyone. I'm Megan McKillop, a legislative and policy advocate with CML. Lots of stuff going on at the Capitol, so let's get right into it. Last Thursday, Pueblo City Council President Larry Atencio and Canyon City Mayor Ashley Smith testified on behalf of CML in support of House Bill 1269 before the House Energy and Environment Committee. This bill would require the Public Utilities Commission to perform a feasibility study on the concepts of community choice energy, where a community may choose to purchase electricity at wholesale through suppliers other than the local investor-owned electric utility. This feasibility study is intended to determine whether CCE has the potential to enable communities to meet their renewable energy goals and save money without using a regulated utility as their sole supplier of service. CCE would provide more options to our cities and towns who are beholden to one main supplier of energy. And we support not only the concept of CCE, but this PUC study. Thank you to Mayor Smith and Councilman Atencio for your testimony. On Tuesday, May 4th, the House Appropriations Committee will consider House Bill 1162, the management of plastic products. CML was initially supportive of this bill because it included language that repealed the prohibition of local government's ability to manage or prohibit the use of plastic materials. Unfortunately, this language was removed from the bill in the House Finance Committee back in March. CML is opposed to the bill unless it is amended to restore the language that would lift the local government preemption over the management of plastic products. And we are actively working on getting that language back in. I encourage you to call your state representative to let them know that you want to see local control back in House Bill 1162. On Tuesday, CML will be testifying in support of House Bill 1289, which makes sweeping changes to broadband deployment in our state. The bill will codify the Colorado Broadband Office and house the office within the Office of Information Technology. And the bill provides funding for several grant programs that award funding for broadband deployment projects throughout the state. Under the bill, the Office of Information Technology is required to coordinate with local governments, municipal utilities, and other entities to develop strategies for the promotion of the deployment of broadband infrastructure and greater broadband access. The bill will increase funding for local governments to develop and expand broadband service and will provide consistency for Colorado's broadband deployment efforts. CML is in strong support of this piece of legislation. Lastly, I want to give you all an update on the long-awaited transportation funding bill. CML has received a draft of the bill, and we expect the bill to be introduced this week. CML staff is carefully reviewing it, and we will be providing updates to our members about the bill throughout the process, so stay tuned. That's it for me. Please reach out if you have any questions. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for tuning in this week. Please feel free to contact us and we'll see you next week.